valid, pertinent points brought out by you. But I'll request you to stay on with us. There's another international news that we are tracking, and we like your valuable perspective on that as well. Viewers, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has spoken to the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and launched a strong protest over the attacks by the US Navy in the Gulf that killed 3 Indian mariners. And I'm quoting here, such lethal actions against commercial shipping are not justified. Jaishankar had in fact stated this in a post on X platform about his talks with Rubio. Now, 3 vessels with Indian crew came under attack off the Oman coast this week. One of them resulted in the death of 3 Indian seafarers on Wednesday. I'm quoting again here. Spoke to US Secretary of State Marco Rubio this evening. I reiterated India's strong protest at the attacks by the US Navy in the Gulf that killed 3 Indian mariners. This is what Jaishankar had in fact stated. Now, India has summoned the charge d'affaires of the US Embassy in New Delhi to lodge its protest on this matter as well, and that too twice. So, Ambassador Singhal, obviously this is a very concerning situation, and India finds itself in the crossfire. We did not want to be an active participant in this war. We have been trying and pushing forward for dialogue, for negotiations. Unfortunately, it is our sailors who are getting hurt in the crossfire. We are in fact paying with blood. 3 Indian seafarers have lost their lives, and this is US knew what they were doing. They conducted precision strikes on the engine room. So obviously people are going to get hurt when they do so. India lodged protests with the charge d'affaires twice. Now we know that our External Affairs Minister has spoken to Marco Rubio regarding the same. What's the solution to this? Because we can't have the US actually attack and conduct kinetic strikes against commercial shipping vehicles just because they're not following the law.
Absolutely, Shwani. I think there's a big outrage in India on what USA has done. They claim to be an ally of India, and we are supposedly their very important partner. They keep elevating this partnership. But when it comes to this kind of incident, which is, I would say, unprovoked, they could have, easily boarded the ship. Okay, if they're feeling that, they're not the Indian ship, commercial ship, they're commercial ship, not a warship. The commercial ships are not following the directives of the US Navy, rightly or wrongly. They could have easily boarded those ships. What was the need to attack? Because they were not threat to US Army, US Navy there. They were just not following the instruction. Not following the instruction does not amount that you start lethal attack, direct attack. It could have been, warning shot could have been. But attacking directly, I think, is not acceptable what they have done. And that justifiably so, India has launched very strong protest with them. Of course, President Trump, in his own way, is just trying to take the responsibility. See that he also realized, I think, what has happened is not correct. So what he has said in his statement that Iran is responsible. It's the Iran which has done, which Iran, of course, has denied that we are not done. It's the US Navy. So I think there is a realization that what they have done, what the Navy has done, maybe in their enthusiasm to enforce things without realizing the implications. Sometimes it happens that the on the ground, the Army or the Navy personnel do not follow the right protocols. But it's a third incident. So I think the US has to take care of that, and India has already protested. And I think the President Trump's meeting with the Prime Minister G7 in France, I think there is going to be a discussion about this, that this is not acceptable, whether President Trump likes it or not. But I think India will make its point very clear that we have been helpful to them, and India is not a party, and they were innocent civilians. So just not following the instruction does not justify this kind of direct action by the Navy. Be it India or any other country, they can easily board because they're not threat to Navy. Navy, they could have sent some boat and boarded the ship and stopped them, whatever they were doing. But direct attack, I think, is not acceptable. And India, I think, is very right when our Prime Minister has lodged protest directly with Marco Rubio and told him that it's not acceptable. We have also, of course, called twice the charge the affairs of US Embassy in Delhi and told him in no uncertain terms. But I think they need to find a method that in future this kind of incident do not happen.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for that valuable perspective.